So, thank you very much to be here today in Café Latino. Lou, it's a pleasure to have you. All my guests tell us a little about yourself. Can you tell us a little about yourself?
Certainly. I have been the director of the Vienna Arts Center now for 11 years. And it actually is a mission for me to bring art to my community. I'm very fortunate that happened to be their byline, is enriching our communities through the arts. So after I had completed working my corporate jobs all of my life, I sort of took stock of what did I want my life to mean.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really loved more than anything was arts and culture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was raised in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember going to ballet school every Saturday morning. And after ballet school, Mom and Grandma and sister and I would go to galleries, and we would go to museums. So I was this tiny little person that really was introduced to all of these wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that a lot of, no matter how educated some people are, they don't expose themselves to the arts. And my mission is for everybody to take a look at what is available. And we are so blessed to have the Vienna Arts Society that will answer practically every call to get our art out there and to involve the people, involve the artists. We're also blessed to have some incredible artists, as you probably know, that
Mm-hmm.
you know some of them are internationally known.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own mission, is to put the art out there that is affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And I really encourage that. You know, they could probably get 10 times the money in some gallery in New York,
Absolutely.
but they want it in people's homes. They want their love to be in somebody's home.
That's incredible. Coming back a little, it's very interesting. I also had the opportunity to visit France when I was 15 years old, and I went to visit the Museum of Say, that is all the Impressionist. And I just couldn't believe how much beauty was there. My mother introduced me a little in art because in Mexico there's a lot of muralists.
Yes.
And then Diego Rivera Siqueiros. My mother used to bring me to these buildings, like in the President of Mexico building. It's so beautiful, and it's incredible places that I really begin to like art. But it wasn't until I was 15 when I went to Europe, when I had the opportunity to really enjoy art, and I fell in love with Van Gogh, and I thought the Impressionists were amazing. And art is just something incredible, no? Incredible. In middle school, I studied art, and I stopped painting after that. I really didn't paint anymore. But it's interesting, you know, how there are places that we in this Northern Virginia that don't know that exist. You know, it was just recently that I found out there was this Vienna Society. And it's incredible because how long have you existed in this center?
We have been in existence now 55 years.
Oh my
If you can imagine that.
55 years.
And it was actually conceived by a group of artists that lived in Vienna, and they wanted to get together and share their talent and share, you know, it was just maybe 6 people who founded our organization. And they all happened to be very, very, very talented people that needed an outlet to let everybody know that they're there. And it grew rather rapidly to where we became sort of the premier art society of Northern Virginia. And we have close to, I think we're up to like 12 different gallery places that you can show getting ready to do something at Meadowlark Gardens. We have a Green Spring Garden show right now that the judge comes in and judges the works that are hanging, and we give awards. So we typically top out at around 160, 170 members. And it's interesting that you talked about the murals in Mexico.
Yes.
We actually had Lula, who lives in Florida, and when she heard about us, she came here and started working on some of our benches. We have every couple years we did a temporary art exhibit all through the town of Vienna, where we had these art benches.
Art benches.
Yeah,
Wow.
and so there were 42 of them out there, and Lula heard about this, and she is one of the muralists
Wow.
that decorates different cities, including Mexico City.
Wow, look at that.
So she came and she helped us with a bench. But we had 42 other artists that contributed with that as well. We go to, we'll even hang small shows. Like, for instance, we have one at a dentist office. He wanted his slobby. Again, something that was attractive, and people, while they're waiting, could look at the art and just feel better about themselves. So 55 years, and I've been with them 11.
That's amazing. I just my skin get like, I don't know what it says. I feel like, how is the thing?
Tingly?
Tingly, yeah.
Tingly, yes.
55 years, and I've been in here in Northern Virginia for 12 years, and I never knew about it. This is what is so important.
How did you find out about it?
So what's interesting, I 2 years ago, my husband decided that he didn't want to live with me and left me. So I was in a stage of depressed, very, very depressed. When I was living with him, I tried to paint, and he got upset because I'm not a very clean person, to say. So I was painting, and I accidentally painted the carpet, and he was so mad, and he said, I can't believe that, I don't want you paint here, just look at this. As I decided, okay, I'm not going to do it. So I kind of put my face down and says, I'm not going to paint, because he get upset, When he left me, I was in this stage of depression. I decided to, you know what? Now I live by myself, and the only thing I had with me was the acrylics that I used to do. I said, whatever, I'm going to begin to do what I love to do, is painting. So I began to copy Van Gogh's. So I did like a series of 5 paintings of Van Gogh that I love it. Then I found clay, and I put clay over paintings of Van Gogh. And suddenly I found this other organization called Fairfax. A friend of mine told me about this organization, Fairfax Art League. And she said, oh, Laura, you should come. It's very nice. I went there, and I met, oh my brain gets forgetful. So I met a lot of artists there, but it was really somebody that I met a person that told me, Laura, I think you should do better if you come to Vienna. Let me see. I totally forgot her name. I don't know what's wrong with me. Let me see. It's give me a second. Anyhow, so somebody in the Vienna that is part of the Vienna team. She is I just can't believe it. I forgot her name.
But that's interesting that you were referred by another art organization to come to ours. We have just this year received an award from the Congress of Virginia as being an incredible art society where we reach out to the community and do so much for the community. And you being one of the members, you know how welcoming we are to everybody. It doesn't matter. Oh, that's Nancy.
Nancy.
So Nancy referred you.
So Nancy mentioned to me, I said, Laura, you live in Reston, maybe Vienna would be a good place.
Yes.
So I immediately apply, and one of the things that I can share with the community is like, I apply like on Monday, And I think it was the next day somebody sent me an email. I said, welcome, ta-da. And 2 days later I received a letter. So the welcome that I felt just with that, those letters and everything was amazing. And Nancy says, there's a mixer, that you get together.
The reception.
A reception that they're presenting this artist that paints things for Japan.
Yes, because it was the Asian New Year.
Asian New Year,
right?
Exactly.
And we had an artist who loves to do Asian work. And isn't it amazing?
When I saw that art, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
I thought I was I was somebody from China painting Chinese stuff. And when I met her, I was so impressed. She's an American person.
Yes. And she's so good. And again, she actually had a practice. She's a psychiatrist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was her life was, and I think she specialized with children. But there are so many different roads to art.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, like there is one artist that went to a paint and sip.
Wow.
In a bar,
Mm-hmm.
and they were sitting there, and when they opened the tube of paint, she said she felt like she was going into a different world.
Oh my goodness.
That it was just, she's never had a paintbrush in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
She never opened a tube of paint. But as soon as she opened it, she said, I knew my mission. And it just sort of takes over you. And some people have a talent, and some have to practice and practice, but all of their work is spectacular.
So that day I went there, and everybody was so friendly. And we say in Mexico, your house is my house, my casa es tu casa. And so when we receive people in Mexico, we don't knock doors. We don't make appointments to visit a neighborhood. We just, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean? We are very welcome.
Yes.
In Mexico we don't have doors. We say, anybody can come anytime. We have, you don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to tell me you'll be there from 6 to 8. You know what I mean? So
how lovely.
So in Mexico we live with no doors. You have to say, it's interesting because it's the truth. Like we don't have doors. We have doors, but it's like open spaces.
Right.
When I moved to the United States, for me was the most terrible thing. It was a cultural shock for me because be so able to talk with people, to be with people, and suddenly I have to make almost an appointment every time I visit a friend or something. It was very hard for me. So when I entered just enter to the center, I feel at home. Everybody welcomed me like I was part of that. They have never seen my life, and people were so welcoming. Later on, a funny part, because destiny or God, Nancy and I, we met earlier in when we have paintings in a church. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned she will be there, at the event. And then we park at the same time. It's like God make things happen. We park at the same time. We enter together. She introduced me with people. But one thing I will tell you, I've been in a few art groups since the past 2 years, and I have never feel like home. So Vienna Arts Society is like be at home. Everybody's welcome you. It's not about stereotypes. It's not like, oh, you've been painting all your life and you just painting for 2 years.
No.
It's like everybody's welcome. Nobody criticize you, or nobody make you feel out. Everybody's welcome you. So this is something very, very unique that I applaud.
Thank you so much. And that is one thing that we really want to get out there, including your first time you said was the third Thursday reception.
Yes, exactly.
Where the mixer, and we don't push sales or anything. We just want the community to come, and we find out what everybody's doing. Where are they going? How's their life? Is everything okay? We have wonderful wine. We have great food.
Oh my goodness gracious!
And everybody is happy. we invite the whole town. You know, whoever is available to come, they're welcome to come to our third Thursday. Every third Thursday, from 4 to 7, we have these receptions.
I know. I just think that usually, I would say some non-profits. I don't want to mention anyone.
No,
I've been part of the Northern Virginia community. I'm part of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce. I've been part of many chambers, and usually it's a certain point that the people push for something, sell something. They give it. I just couldn't believe it. It was just meet somebody, talk with somebody. And that day I met wonderful, wonderful painters. And one of the things I think is in this specific Vienna Arts Society, you can find a mentor. You can find somebody that will give you a hand. It doesn't matter what level of painting you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I got a call the other day from a person who wanted to give a gift of a pet portrait to their relative. The pet had passed away, and that was not her specialty. And she said, Lou, can you please recommend some of the artists that really specialize, because the pet passed away, she wanted it to be a really special painting.
Absolutely.
And everybody came to her call. Everybody. It was like, we'll help you get the expression of the doggy, and it's just very, very, very special.
So just sharing about my own experience, so immediately they told me about this possibility to present my art in one of your galleries located over Maple Street. Is Maple Street?
Right. Village Green, right? The Village Green Gallery.
Can you tell us about that gallery?
Well, that gallery is sort of interesting in that it's in the shopping center and it's in the entryway to the offices.
Yes.
And we were very lucky that Bernstein Management is donating that space for us because it really enhances.
Absolutely.
People come in, they're going to linger a little bit in both upstairs and downstairs because it's everywhere, and they love love seeing the artwork on their way to either an insurance company or whatever they're going to. And then a lot of people, the Carnegie Diner is in the front of the shopping center, and sometimes they come and there's a waiting list to get in. So they come to the gallery to take a look of what we have. There's some delicious food stores, the Italian Gourmet.
Oh my goodness.
It's a really good shopping center.
If you've ever been there, it's just, you can find anything that you can imagine.
And a Russian store just opened.
I know.
Troika.
So they have this Italian place.
Italian gourmet.
And you can buy food.
Yes.
You can buy different products, Oh my God, it's delicious. But also besides the entrance, I think it's ice cream, or what is that dessert area? I'm not sure.
There's a special soda area where they have ice cream sodas.
Exactly,
Yeah.
So it's so interesting because I just joined it maybe a week. And it was this opportunity to present my art, and I submitted, I said, well, let's submit these pieces, and I was accepted. And obviously, I really have never, nobody told me about certain specifications they have to have every frame, So I learned a lot. Immediately they told me, next time you do these changes. There are things that I've been in another galleries and nobody has told me anything about.
Well, we want to have you shown in the best light. In the best light. If we can help you get there, to show you how to frame, how to, and we have a critique class where people come with their work and they sit there and people say, I've been working on this painting for years and I keep putting it away and it just isn't coming together. and there's a group that will give you really helpful advice. Like, for instance, just this area here, you absolutely have to lighten it up. You have to, you have to do this and see if that works for you. The next time they come, they're all glowy and happy. It's like, oh my gosh, I can now show my painting because of all the advice that the artist gave them.
But look at this. I've been painting for 2 years. I've been part of other organizations. And nobody told me. I didn't know that when you do acrylics, you don't have to put glass.
Oh, no, you never do glass.
But, like, I've been painting for 2 years. I've been presenting my art in other galleries, and nobody have told me that. You know what I mean? It's insignificant or very little things that could have been fixed 2 years ago if the people that work with you have told you.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I was just so embarrassing because I didn't know. But it's not making you feel embarrassing. I feel proud. I was like, oh my God. So then I learned different things. You know what I mean? And so this is something that it's not because I don't criticize the other, because I'm part of four other art societies here, other art non-profit organizations in Northern Virginia. As I was a curator for art from Mexico when I was living in Alabama. I brought art from Mexico. And I brought art from Mexico, and I curated a couple galleries, and it was incredible. So along my years, neither where I don't paint, my dream was to have a gallery. That was my dream. I thought I will never be a painter because my mother says I want to be a pianist like my father, and she said, no, Laura, you don't have the skills. Okay, I want to be a painter like Van Gogh. No, Laura, you don't have the skills. And then she said, you have to be a teacher like your other sisters and me, because when you get divorced, you have a degree, not a teacher. Okay.
She knew you were going to be divorced.
No, she said, could be possible, no? Could be possible. Could be possible. Not divorce. In that time, my mother prohibited to get divorced. It was, in case you need it, you have a degree.
Yes.
So my 3 sisters are teachers. My mother is teacher. However, my brothers are not teachers. It's only the women have to be teachers.
Isn't that something?
I told her when I finished middle school, she said, you have to apply to be a kindergarten teacher. I said, no, ma'am. I want to be an engineer. And she said, no, you have to. And so I said, okay, I will apply to be a kindergarten. She said, and I failed the test, no? Mom, you see, I cannot be a teacher. And anyhow, she laughed. Anyhow, the point is, I knew that I want to be a teacher. I want to go to college and everything, no? Anyhow, but in the meantime, my father was a pianist, and we had to learn piano. And from the 3, we are 7.
Seven children.
7 children. The last 3 we have to take classes. I didn't have the chip that my brothers had it. I had to read notes. I couldn't play without reading. So my mother said, no, forget about it. And then I said, okay, I want to be a painter, forget about it. So anyhow, like, the point is, nobody really said, oh, you can be a good artist, no? Anyhow, I still love it. I decided to bring art. I was a curator for a couple galleries in Alabama because it was Mexico. Anyway, my dream came through. I put the galleries. I didn't sell anything, and then I had to move to DC. What I'm going this here is like, along these years, it's incredible that I could have learned so much, but nobody has taken the time to teach you, to tell you, Laura, you can improve the framing this way, or it's 1/3, it's one things that what is the Vienna Arts Society. The people take time to advise you how you can do better.
Yes, absolutely. And we want you to succeed and feel good about what you're doing.
Exactly.
We're always trying to elevate the membership, and so I'm so glad that you noticed all of these things. It's an interesting situation, and the fact that we really help the community so much. I said we had like 11 different places where we show our artwork, and all kinds of wonderful stories come from the artwork. We have a church. The entire sanctuary of the church is artwork. And because the pastor there said it's such a spiritual thing to, when you're sitting in a church, to be surrounded by artwork, but get the inspiration from the artwork too. You know, like for instance, I bought a piece of artwork 25 years ago.
Oh wow!
Okay, and it was in Florida, and it spoke to me. And 25 years later, I still come home every day.
Mm-hmm.
It greets me, and I'm so happy to see it. And if I'm having a hard day, or, you know, I've been working 13 hours that day, I pour a glass of wine, I sit down, I look at my picture, and it comforts me, it makes me happy. And, I mean, artwork can play such a big part in people's lives.
Absolutely.
And I want people to know that in order to enhance your life, give art a chance.
Absolutely. We are going to take a little break. You know, this is Cafe Latino. We don't drink coffee, but we take breaks and we go out and take a little coffee. So we will take a little break and we come back with you in a couple of minutes.
Perfect. So,
give me 1 second where I cannot hear anybody's working. Okay.
Escucha buena música en español, como también interesantes conversaciones con audiencia local bilingüe.